We are in beautiful Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, Nevada at the Mirage.
Very quickly, Aztec Chevrolet, thank you so much. We would not be able to get our entire crew, which is Rick, to Vegas if it wasn't for you. And of course, Old Salt Coffee, Trevino 10. So proud that every bag you buy of Old Salt Coffee, they're going to donate $1 to Helicopters for Heroes.
That's
for
awesome.
our veterans. So if you're going to drink coffee anyway, please get it from veterans and please get it from Old Salt Coffee. And
as I take a drink, you literally said that as I take a drink out of my cup that is not Old Salt Coffee.
hide that
I feel
shit.
terrible.
Hide that shit. Horrible. And I'm over here drinking Red Bull.
It's Vegas, yo. We need some caffeine.
But also, if you hear people laughing in the background and hanging out, it's because we are hanging out.
We have an audience.
We do have an audience. And I was going to say something. You fucked me up. You messed it all up. Oh, I had not done a show in Vegas. And I remember because it was January. It was my birthday weekend. Was the last time that we were here. And then everything shut down. That was like 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And we got here on Monday.
Yes. And you were like a kid on Christmas Eve.
Oh my God. I'm going broke. I'm buying everything. I'm like, let's spend the money. Let's have a good time. But I think we talked about it. I think because of coronavirus, people are now doing things to the max.
Yeah.
You know, so
You got to make up for 2 years of lost time.
Yeah, 2 years of no Vegas.
Yeah.
And it's so confusing because like some people are like, wear a mask. Some people, you don't have to wear the mask. And then you walk up to talk to somebody and they're like, mask it. And you're like, well, I don't know whether to wear a mask or not.
Yeah.
But we've had a great week so far.
Yes. You know what? I'm sorry. Is it weird? It's weird to be sitting right next to you. I'm used to being across from you. So it
Yes, it is weird.
It's a little disorienting.
Well, and it's also weird to have people because our conversations in our home studio feel so kind of
Private, and now there's like lights
intimate
and
you know, I mean, we know people watch, but to have faces here.
Now we feel like we're really talking shit in front of people.
Literally. It's a soap opera. But a lot of people have come into town, friends, family, and because of that, we're going to have some couples on. You know, and again, our podcast is all about family and couples and.
Well, and Vegas is such a good like meeting spot. People who we don't get to see all the time, so we can't have them as guests on the podcast. So we now have them here with us.
Well, and I always have said this: Vegas is a great place to go because when you have kids, it's hard to, even if you go out and get a babysitter, you get home, you're still waking up early for the kids.
Who's the designated driver on the way home?
Here we just stumble around Vegas,
acting like idiots,
jumping in cabs, no kids. All the naked sex we want in our room. Yeah.
If only I could pry you away from the craps table long enough.
Well,
it doesn't take that much time.
If I was winning, we'd have zero sex. But since I've been losing, I'm like, let me go win in the room. I'll go throw doubles down in there. And then my sister came and your brother came.
Yeah.
So it's been a great
good
week.
hang.
And I just gotta say, I am over the moon the way that the Mirage is treating us.
That's what I was about to say. The Mirage really rolled out the red carpet
my gosh,
for you. It's been really sweet.
It has been overwhelming how accommodating and nice they have been to us. And
then even to see your picture next to Aces of Comedy is such a, for people who don't know, it's a big deal.
It's the premier comedy in Vegas.
Yeah. And so to see your face next to Ray Romano's face and Tim Allen's face.
Yeah, and Ron White and David Spade. And
it's really cool.
Fucking famous people. And then there's my dumbass in this group hey, me too. Can I hang out, guys? But Rick, we were talking about, because Rick is, such a comedy nerd, if you will. He always wants to know the behind the scenes, For me, even though I've been doing stand-up now for 20 years, because I started when I was 18, I still feel like the new guy. I still feel like the young kid. I still feel like those guys are leaps and years ahead of me. So I still get very excited when I'm on lineups or photographs like that, where I'm like, I don't belong on that poster.
But you do. You worked really hard for it. Well, so it's cool to be here. And
I don't feel that way.
To see it happen.
I don't feel that way. I still feel like the rookie, the young guy trying to make it, and when you're on a lineup like that, you just go, wow, man, like it really is.
The thing for me was seeing your face on the menu. That to me
Yes.
We had we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was. We're gonna talk about that too. We had an amazing dinner, but I wanted to introduce some very close friends of ours. We've been friends now. We're trying to figure it out.
We realized for over a decade because we met them before we got married.
It's been over
You
a
and I
decade,
were not married
and
yet.
it was really interesting how we met because I was again up and coming comedian, trying to make a name for myself. We did it was a Carnival cruise where we got invited to the cruise, and then I had to I was lucky enough to perform
Yeah.
on Sunday.
We were just going for the free cruise.
So we're going for the free cruise, and we end up hanging out. Well, first of all, they introduced me to this guy, and they call him the Skunkinator. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, does he have a white streak on his head? Like, why do they call him the Skunkinator? And I think one of the first things Jeremy said to me was like, hey, buddy, smells like money.
Yes.
Because if I smell a skunk, that smells like money to me. And then we started talking and hanging out, and come to find out that he is a animal trapper.
For a living.
For the celebrities.
For the celebrities to the stars.
But you would never believe it because the guy dresses like a woman. And you would never believe that this guy's out wrangling snakes. You know, we showed up one time, and you know what? Let's get him on. I want to introduce you guys to Jennifer and Jeremy Bailey, very, very close friends of ours. We're going to move over seats real quick, and you guys are going to sit over here.
My big butt's staying here.
Yes, it is a big butt. People have noticed.
Just so you know, I already know what you're going to bring up.
What?
The shoes.
Oh, his Jimmy shoes. Yeah, we can talk about that too. So look at his shoes. What shoes are you wearing?
Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton shoes.
I asked him this morning, can I borrow that sweater?
Y'all raid each other's closets?
No, not yet, but I think that sweater I'm gonna take over.
Well, when you get it at the swap meet, it's easy to.
That
Better on
PPP
my
loan.
thing.
Well, no, I remember, we were all going to go out, and you guys, we were living in LA at the time. You guys came over. Well, Jeremy's his phone's blowing up, and he uses his cell phone as his business phone. It's blowing up, and he goes, man, it's a job. I know it's a job. And he's like, I don't want to take it. You were dressed like this.
We were ready to go.
I dressed like this. We're going to go to the Comedy Store that night. And I go, just take the call. Take the call. So he takes the call, and this guy's like, nobody will come get this rattlesnake at my front door.
It's like 6 p.m.
It's like 6 p.m. And, and Jeremy's like, I'm off. I'm not working. I'm sorry. He goes, listen, man, I don't care what it costs. Come get this damn snake, right? So Jeremy's like, $1,000. Guy's like, come on, $1,000. Let's go, right? So he shows up like that. I show up like this. I have a hoe that we bought at Kmart. We stopped at Kmart.
For a hoe and a shovel.
For a hoe and a shovel.
Yeah.
I'm killing the snake. He's getting the check. And I know this guy's thinking, wow, that guy must have a Mexican working for him. That must be his employee. But we partied on that money that night.
Right. It took less than 5 minutes.
Well, the drive and everything was total 45 minutes. The guy makes $1,000. I made the $1,000. He just took the call. And then Jennifer owns her own business in Shafter, California, and it has just been, it's been so fun.
She's like my sister from another mister.
From another mister.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, is that how it works? I don't know how.
Right? Yeah.
Is that what you say? Brother
That's
from
what-
another
that's what
mother,
we-
and then
That's what we
Yeah.
say. That's what
so
we
you
say.
guys came out of different ball sacks, but you're still.
We're connected.
Is
But
that
somehow we're
is that
connected.
how it works?
But the same Captain Evil.
Yes. Does that trip you out sometimes when you look at your kids and you're like, you were in my ball sack?
I don't
my-
think he thinks of it like
No.
My
that.
dad tells me you're lucky you weren't a stain on the wall, so.
On the wall. What kind of shots? What kind of shots does your dad have?
He was a Marine, so who knows?
Mine ends up in a sock, all sad. But it has been a lot of fun for all of us because we've kind of grown together. We've become successful together, and you guys tell us your love story because you
That's a
guys
good
started
one.
so young.
We did. I think we met when we were, 22?
You remember
22,
better than me.
23, yeah. We were just off and on for a while, and then finally I'm like, okay. Like, are we going to do this or we're not? So obviously,
Here we are.
Here we
So
are.
you were both 22. Are you guys the same age? No, right?
Yeah.
Well, no,
we
he's
are.
older.
He's a little
A
older.
lot older.
6 months. Yeah.
6 months. 6 months. Where did you guys meet?
So she was going to college in Davis. I was acting like I was going to college.
Kind of like you.
And
I didn't ever act like I went to college. I just partied at every
Well,
college
that's
campus.
what he means.
That's what I
That's what
mean.
he means by
so
that too.
we were at a
Isn't that called dealing drugs?
lightweight. So we,
Look at Jennifer.
I saw her silhouette from behind at the bar, and I said, I have to go talk to her. And I went and wiggled in between her and her friend, and I offered to buy them Jaeger bombs.
That was it.
It was over from there.
And you fell in love. You were like, oh, Jaeger bombs.
That's my guy.
That's my guy. He's my
That's
Jaeger.
gonna be my husband. It's really sad.
So then dating right away? Or?
We dated. No, so we were off and on for quite a bit. Probably like 2 years. And finally, when I gave him that ultimatum, I'm like, okay, if it's gonna work, it's gonna work. Like no more off and on, no more fighting, no more, because we were very.
Well, that shit hasn't stopped. Y'all are still fighting. So
We are, but it's different now.
It's different now.
It's different now.
committed.
It is, and
But you
so-
guys are a lot similar because Renae gave me the ultimatum.
So literally, I told him, I had spent the night at his house, and I told him, like, if it's not going to work, it's not going to work, and I'm fine with it. I went home, and then that next day, I think you called me for lunch, right? You asked me on a date to lunch, which we had never done before.
Remember,
we only went out at night.
yeah.
Remember,
So
I'm
you
a,
saw
I'm
her
a trapper.
during the
You
day.
can't get away
And
from me.
so literally, I went. No,
I
you
will
went.
trap
So
this
we went
bitch.
out. We went out to lunch that day. We went to his place, and I never left.
Really?
I never left. No, I moved in.
Y'all are so similar.
So I still had my apartment though with one of my girlfriends. So I continued.
That was just your giant closet.
That was because I didn't want my parents to know. So
She
Very
comes-
traditional
Very
parents, yeah.
traditional.
Yeah.
So she,
so I kept my apartment probably for like 6 months. I
but
kept my
right away she
apartment.
moved in. Right away.
Like game over for you.
That's it.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is gonna happen.
So for you, I always find it so interesting. Jeremy speaks fluent Spanish. Where did you learn that?
Well, I grew up, a lot of my friends are Mexican growing up. So I knew the basics, I knew a lot. But when I met her, and then I met her family, now they speak a lot of English because of me. But when I first met her family, they only spoke Spanish to her. I got sick and tired of saying, what'd they say?
When
What'd
I
they
stopped
say?
telling her, I'm like,
What'd
I don't
they
know.
say?
I'm not.
Right.
She's like, I'm over it.
I'm
Just
over
learn.
it. Like,
So you literally learned.
Yeah, and then initially, when we moved to where we live now, we opened her business first. So I spent a lot of time there with the clients, passing out flyers, trying to promote her business and get her thing going. So in her store, nobody speaks English. So I had to go in there, learn Spanish, had a bunch of friends that became, the clients that became friends, and just started learning. And the more you speak, the
I always tell Renae that because Renae always says, I understand Spanish, I don't speak it. And a lot of it is because you're embarrassed to speak
I was gonna
it.
say it's totally
Yeah.
frustration.
Right.
So for
because-
me,
You're afraid to mess up a word. You're afraid.
Oh, he makes up
You know.
words. I'm like, that is not a word. I'm like, what?
I'm speaking
Like,
to
that is not Spanish.
I'm speaking to a guy that speaks no English, and we figure it out.
I was gonna say, but he knows what you're
Yeah,
saying.
we
right?
figure it
Yeah.
out. But that's the thing with me is I don't care about messing up.
Right.
I'm confident enough
Well, it
in
helps
myself.
when you look like that too, though.
Come on.
No. If you're
Versus if you look,
if
versus
you're
if you
that
look,
white
yes.
and you're trying, people go,
appreciate
oh,
that.
They love the effort.
Yeah.
Well, you-
I thought that was gonna take a far right. So you never know. But no, for me, I'm so confident that in trying that people
respectable.
understand. Yeah, people understand. Like this guy's really giving the effort,
Right.
And I don't care if I mess up because if you're not trying, you're not gonna learn. So anywhere I go, people understand. Like in a lot of my clients I deal with. You're dealing with the estate managers or housekeepers, or I deal with a lot of gardeners too, and they only speak Spanish, so I have to speak Spanish to them.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. Speaking of, let's talk about both you guys owning your own businesses from very young and having to figure it out. I remember you telling me stories, Jennifer, about, when you guys started these businesses, it was tough.
And the girls
and
were little.
you had little babies.
We had 2 babies, so our girls are a year and a half apart. So at one point I had a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I'm trying to run a business. But luckily, he didn't start his business until maybe 2 years after
No,
mine.
probably a year to
year and a half?
a year to 18 months after.
Okay.
But when we moved to where we live, we had nothing. We bought a house online when you could go stated and say you made all this money or whatever.
Right.
We did it.
We didn't.
Yeah.
We
You're
had
part of
no
the bubble that broke. Yeah.
we had no choice but to make it.
Right.
She did her thing, I did my thing, and where I live, it's very Texas, you know? You always tell me, your job don't exist where I'm from.
No, hell no.
You know, so, and it don't exist in Bakersfield. It's
So
very,
for a lot of people that don't know, they live in Bakersfield, not even Bakersfield, Shafter.
Shafter.
And every morning you drive in to Los Angeles.
correct.
To work in the fancy smancy neighborhoods. Give us a little bit of your client list. Just drop some names.
Paul McCartney, Rod Stewart, Sylvester Stallone, Denzel, Justin Bieber, on and on and
And
on.
I love when you show pictures of your checks with like LeBron James, you know, Justin Bieber. I mean, and through this, so how did the was your first break for TV? Was that Dirty Jobs?
Yeah, so Mike was nice enough. I actually did a show with him in the Bay Area when I was like 18, and we went in the storm drains of the streets removing rattlesnakes. And he always told me he wanted to do a show about getting sprayed by skunks. So when I moved to LA, I contacted him. He was like, let's do it right away. So we filmed it. He then took me on with him on Larry King, and I got to be on Larry King with him. So he really helped me like get into that TV market. And then my first biggest celebrity client was Sylvester Stallone. Still to this day, he's a client and the nicest guy in the world. He really passed my name around, let me use his photograph and a bunch of videos and stuff to really promote my business. And then it just took off from there, like word of mouth and all of that. So, and then,
Well, but you always say, you know, and both you guys are such, you know, professional when it comes to both your businesses. And going back to talking about succeeding, you know, I always feel like I was lucky to not have a safety net, even though you're unlucky to not have a safety net. Because there is no, like, I have to make it.
It's sink or swim.
Yeah, nobody's going to help me. My parents don't have the money to help me. They're not going to help me. I'm going to have to survive. And Renae and I went through a lot of that in our relationship. What were the big, if you guys ever had any big marital issues through this journey, which were those?
I
I
think
don't want to say because I feel like every time we say we don't really fight, then we have like a huge, massive.
she doesn't talk to me for a couple weeks.
Yeah, like we were just in San Diego and we were talking to friends and they were kind of going through stuff and he's like, well, you know, like we hardly ever fight, and literally like a week later,
jinxed
like,
it.
yeah, we jinxed it. Yeah.
Well,
We had a lot of challenges though, like when we were getting started, as
And I
far
think
as like
we were raised differently too. You know, my parents were very, very
well,
traditional.
you're a lot like Renae.
Yeah.
You grew up very spoiled.
Yeah.
Daddy did everything
And that's
for you.
Mexican American
See,
princess.
and that's true. But then also, you know, you speak of safety nets. Like even though like my parents, you know, my dad's very well off, but he's very traditional. Where he's like, okay, he wants to marry you. Like he didn't even pay for our wedding.
Right.
He's like, if he wants to marry you, then he's gonna pay for that wedding.
he didn't even
You know?
talk to me the first day I
Yeah,
met him.
so
I
he
slept in
was-
his house. He didn't say a thing to me the whole weekend.
Yeah.
The whole not one thing to me the whole weekend.
We're a lot alike then.
So
yeah,
that was my dad. You know,
I
like-
gave Daddy Raymond Bell's palsy, so that's what I did.
So you know, in that sense, you know, I think if shit really hit the fan, we did have a safety net, but we didn't, you know, because
Right.
my dad's very traditional. He's like, no, he has to be a man. You know, he wanted a
Right,
wife.
figure it out.
He's gonna have to figure it out.
And then we were at your house one time. I remember we started. That was one of the most fun nights when we were playing Spin the Bottle.
It's a dangerous game. we don't play that game anymore.
We were
We've
drinking-
never played since.
We never
right?
played since, but it wasn't Spin the Bottle like, you know, as kid, like we would as kids. It was.
Yeah, we're not swingers.
Yeah, no,
We're
no.
not swingers.
It was Spin the Bottle. Whoever it lands on gets to bitch about their wife or husband.
Yes, and then
That
the
went
rest
on
of
for
us
like
got, and then the
5
rest of us got to
hours.
chime in.
I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, "Fuck you guys." Everybody would be against me,
It was
or
like
you know.
a bad version of group marital therapy. It was
Bad.
But it was so.
But we were
funny.
like 3 wine bottles deep, so we didn't care.
It was a lot of fun. What was your thoughts when you first met Renae and I? You guys.
Well, I met you first, and we were drinking, and then you still talk about it to this day. that if our wives don't get along,
We're fucked.
we're not hanging out again. And
It
luckily,
was love
our
at
wives
first
got
sight.
along.
Yeah, I've always said that. I've always said if your wife and his wife get along, you're hanging out.
Right.
And if you and him don't get along, you're still hanging
It's
out.
totally true.
Right.
But if me and him if me and you like each other and the wives don't like each other, we're never seeing each other again.
Right. And we hit it off right away. Then we did excursions together, hung out in Mexico together.
Well, we didn't leave each
we,
other's
well, we
sides.
ditched our friends that we went with to hang out with you guys.
Right. And we had a great time. And I think ever since we hit it off then, it was like,
That was awesome.
You're
But
my
you know,
brother.
the crazy thing is, I don't know if you realized it, but I didn't even realize you were the comedian performing. Like when I met
Just
you
hanging
guys,
out,
I
having a good
thought
time.
you guys were just until that night up, and I'm like, oh my god, I didn't realize.
I didn't
he was
realize
a-
either because we were having buckets of beer. That's the way it was set up. Like for the group we went with, we were having buckets of beer by the pool. Me and you didn't really know each other, so me and you started talking, and then someone came up and was like, "Oh, he's the comedian that's on the ship."
Well, I told Renae, I'm like, this guy's hitting on me. I don't know what's going on with this
Well,
guy.
the thing is, Jeremy's famous for bromances, and he has at least 3 of them a year where he has a new best.
No, but you guys are similar personality types. Like you never meet a stranger.
Yes, very
Jeremy never meets a
friendly.
stranger. You guys are both campaigning for mayor of the
'Cause we're good
boat or
people.
wherever we're at.
We're
Yeah.
good
I
people.
have to tell him when we go on a flight, like, do not talk to anybody. Like, I don't want to hear you talking to a stranger for 3
flight.
hours.
And
So-
Jen has her blinders on, like,
Yeah.
don't talk to me, just doing my own thing on my.
Just bitch face.
Yeah.
Just bitch face.
So I can't even talk to her, so I gotta find someone else to talk to.
Well, that's why I have to tell Renee, like, tell your face you like these
Right.
people.
Right.
Like, fuck. Like, I'm trying to hang out with these people, and her face is just shit face.
See,
And
but
I'm
her
like,
and I'll sit there like that, and we'll be okay, right? Just
well, and then we get here, and immediately Renee goes shopping, and then you girls didn't even get to meet up, but y'all are just passing each other
Through the mall. Yeah.
through the mall. What was that, yesterday?
Yes. Yeah.
And then we had such an amazing dinner. Going back to the menu, we all got
Your-
here. Well,
your
you guys
face
got here
on the menu?
Tuesday,
we did.
and then we all ended up at a what's it? Bugsy
Bugsy's.
Myers. Bugsy Myers
Steakhouse. Yeah, at the Flamingo.
Steakhouse at the Flamingo. We had our own private room, and also we get in there, and you know they fucked up, right? They thought it was my birthday.
Oh.
They didn't realize that we were celebrating yours and Kyle's birthday. That's why my face was on the menu. Not because I'm famous. It's because they thought it was my birthday.
I'm gonna edit this whole section out.
But it was awesome to have a nice dinner like that and hang out because we haven't hung out with you guys
It's been a while.
in a
Long time.
long time because
we
of
did Oxnard,
COVID.
but that was with the kids, so that's always.
Yeah,
a
we hung
little-
out in
yeah.
Oxnard.
A little bit, but I just think, since COVID, man, everybody has to catch back up with their close family.
Yeah.
And then we just didn't have, because every time, Bakersfield got canceled.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, when are you doing
we're-
Bakersfield again? Because
Hopefully
all my
soon.
friends keep asking me, when's he coming?
We love doing, and we started something at Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Nobody had ever done stand-up at Crystal Palace.
And it's such a cool venue to see
is.
It's
It
stand-up.
awesome
is. It's
venue.
awesome.
Awesome, and we had such a great time that night. And then we had booked it back.
Yeah.
And then because of COVID, so then there are those times because we'll go stay at you guys, which,
And that's nice because when you guys do Bakersfield, you'll come out for like a week.
and we'll stay with you
And
guys.
then you'll
yeah.
stay. And remember, I think you go to like San Jose, and then Renee will stay there. She
I hang back
She would
and
stay
you
there
run
with
around.
Garrett,
Yeah.
and you would take off.
Well, now we have Delilah. Because have you guys even met Delilah?
Yeah, in Oxnard.
we
Oh,
did.
that's right. Well, she was itty bitty, right? Well, how old was she in Oxnard?
She's still itty bitty.
Well, I know when they're that
Well-
little, though, 2 months does make
Yeah.
a huge difference.
Yeah,
in
no,
their
she's
development.
like all
She's walking
personality
now.
and now. But we have had such a good time together. And I'm trying to think. Oh yeah,
I feel like, honestly, you guys in California were our saving grace, especially for me, because when I had Garrett and you at that time, you were on the road so much. Not that you're not now, but you had already been a mom twice with the girls.
Yes.
And, my girlfriends in LA weren't having babies yet, really. So when you'd travel, I'd go and stay with them
yeah.
by myself, me and Garrett,
And he
go
was a
hang out.
newborn.
You
when
guys were like the
Yeah, and then
our-
we
you
would
were our
also
California family.
Yeah, and we'd also go stay with you as well for the weekends or whatever when he was gone.
Yeah.
I just remember one time, and I'll tell this last story, and then we'll get some new guests because they're getting boring. But
I told you. I don't know why you even wanted me on this. I warned you.
I'm kidding. No, so remember the time we're at the blackjack table? Me and Jeremy are so drunk at the blackjack table, and we're making the dealer laugh so hard because I kept telling her, I go, this guy needs to win money because he's gonna pin his ears back. He needs money for a surgery to pin his big ears back. And the woman did not know if we were serious or not. and Jeremy's like, come on, my ears.
I need this.
Meanwhile, he's wearing a Jimmy Choo's, right? A Louis Vuitton shirt,
Blinged
a
out Jimmy
Rolex.
Choos.
But it's been awesome to get back into Vegas with you guys, and we're so happy y'all came.
I know we missed
Hey,
you.
but thank God I didn't, because now with the mask and Corona, I could, I got some big hooks to hang it
Yeah,
on.
you just hang the freaking. That mask ain't coming off, dude. Well, tell them a little bit about where they can find you and follow you, because you're always posting really cool stuff. If you look up, what can they look up to see your TMZ?
So my website is animalcapturewildlifecontrol.com. All my TV stuff is on there. Dirty Jobs, TMZ, Larry King, all that stuff's on there. A lot of like celebrity pictures, that kind of stuff. My Instagram is Animal Capture, all together, no spaces. And I have a lot of, celebrity pics, animal pics.
I love the video of Stallone and you, with Stallone's arm around you, because you had what happened? You guys caught a bobcat instead of a coyote.
Right. So we were trapping coyotes at his house, and we caught a bobcat. So he decided to make a funny video. We caught this cat. I ordered it from Alaska. It turned out to be wild. Jeremy's gonna take it to the local pet shop for only
sell it?
only $9.99. You can own this cat. And
And then you guys got a bunch of shit from, like, didn't PETA go nuts? And
no, it wasn't. I didn't get a lot of backlash. People understood it was a joke.
Right.
So
No, but when you did Dateline with the possums, oh my God.
I did Inside Edition about
Inside Edition.
possums, and LA was having like a typhus outbreak, which comes from fleas, which possums carry tons of fleas. I had every organization, pet, possum owner across the country come out against me saying I put a target on
Did you just say
possums.
pet possum owner?
Yes.
As in
People-
owners
people
who
have them
pet
as pets,
possums?
yeah.
People have them as pets, and
Yes.
they said that I put a target on their back, when really, all my stuff is trap and release. I don't euthanize animals.
Yeah.
So it, so I don't know, it just brought a lot of like bad publicity, where I had to like shut down a lot of things,
Yeah.
social media and things for a while, because I was getting so much hate. But yeah, you can
no, but
see a
you've
lot of
always
stuff.
been real good about really specific. I mean, I've seen you literally not work with clients anymore because they didn't want to follow your humane rules and stuff. And I've seen you talk about that and deal with all the stuff that you have to deal with when it comes to that. But I also told Jeremy, I go, wait a minute, let me understand how this works. The rule is to relocate them a mile from where you caught them. So you grab the possum, you relocate it a mile, and then you just hand out business cards. If you have a critter problem, which I think you will,
I know you will.
Which I know you will.
which I know you will,
Call me.
call me, I got you. And then he just keeps going mile.
And yeah, possums, they have up to 20 babies,
That's
a year.
what's-
Holy cow.
That's what's crazy. Well, I went with you on another job. The guy had, what was it in the boat?
He had a raccoon mom with babies in the boat.
In the boat. So it's $100 per animal to remove.
Right.
So if he breeding season, he'll grab a possum that has 6 babies, and he's like 100, 200, 300, 400. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's LA. People pay it. They don't care. There's so many people with money out there. You start to tell them the price, and they're like, "When are you coming?" Like,
Well,
Just
they
go
gotta
get
get
it.
rid of them.
right.
It's unbelievable. I remember you telling me a story about Barry Bonds calling you because there was a dead mouse on his porch.
No, it wasn't him, because he would have took it down himself. But I had a guy call me.
Yeah.
He's the lead singer of a rock band, and he had a
Because he's rock and roll. Come
Right.
get the mouse. Come get the mouse.
he had a dead rat on his back patio, and he refused to touch it. I told him, well, dude, I charge $150 just to show up. He's like, I don't care, I got cash, come get it now. When I get there, he has day laborers working, like tile guys, like somebody could have picked it up and just with a shovel and threw it on the hillside, and he wanted to pay to remove it.
And that's it.
That's it.
Yep.
I'm in the wrong business. I work my ass off. All right, Jen and Jeremy, we love you guys. Thank you so
you
much.
guys.
We're going to
Thank
kick
you.
you out. But could I get a water? I know I had a water somewhere. Yeah. Yeah. So very quickly, because we do have some friends here that may have never been a part of the podcast.
Yes.
Are there any questions that you guys have when you watch the podcast?
You're always answering the phone.
Oh, I'm always.
And I always look so annoyed. I'm like, can I
No,
wait?
I'm like, is he paying attention?
No, well, my phone never stops.
She asked,
ever.
why is he
Yeah.
always on his phone in the podcast?
I mean, look, since since we've been talking, I have missed 3, 4, 5, 6 different text messages.
I even saw you messing with my phone too.
and 2 phone calls. So it never ends. It never stops. Well, that's what I was going to tell you too. It has been so sweet. All the staff at Aztec Chevrolet continues to send me such great message. Steve, this is Felix with Aztec Chevrolet. I just want to say good luck tonight. Big time now, baby. Don't forget about us little people. I already did. Down here. No, they
No,
were
they
going to
couldn't make
come,
it after
and they
all.
didn't make it. But just getting these wonderful messages from those guys of support, it's just awesome. You know, it tells you their character, you know. We have the Dr. Z text me, excited for you for tonight. People are just happy, you know,
Yeah.
my phone's always nonstop.
Another question.
Yes.
I've never had a chance to ask a comedian before. How do you memorize your stuff, your material? Like, I mean,
Well,
hours of content. How do you memorize that?
Well, I'm on stage. The question is, how do I memorize my material? It's a lot easier when it's real and it's honest to me. So I'm actually telling a real story.
I like that you said honest to you.
No, I'm not. It is real. It is real. But it is one of those things for me, and I've talked about on the podcast. Me having dyslexia has really increased my memory. So I have a great memory, and I always feel like if it's a good joke, I'm going to remember it. If it's a good story, I'm going to remember it. And it kind of works out because if it's not a good joke, I'll just move on from it and forget about it. So I just keep it all in my head. I mean, people.
But he also has like an insane, crazy memory.
Yeah, I can edit in my head. You know, if I have while I'm performing, in my head, I'm also thinking about something completely different. So I'm performing, and then in my head, I'm like, well, man, do I want to do this next? I'm having a conversation with myself while I'm performing.
So you haven't prepared segues to the next.
Not all the time, you know.
But Steve, I was talking with him earlier. The evolution of a joke, like when you were filming I Speak Wife, to even what you're going to do tonight, there's a route that's there, but it's branched off into different punchlines.
That's what's so frustrating about filming a special, and then I go back out and do that material, and it got better, and I'm like, fuck, it's better now, you know. But it's always evolving and growing. I'm always trying to think of the different angles, but you know, I truly am having out of body experiences because I'm performing, and sometimes I'm watching myself perform. Like I can see myself performing, and I'm thinking, okay, where am I going next? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? Am I going to stop here? Or I'm distracted with something going on in the audience.
Which is like
you
your
know?
brain in real life when you're not on stage either. Like,
Yes, I'm thinking in my head, why are you talking right now? That was good. That was good. That was good. That was good.
But why does the joke evolve? Like, you got the laugh, why change it?
Because there's got to be a better punchline. That's what I tell young comics all the time. I go, you know, I watch you perform, like a lot of my openers, right? And I'm not talking about my openers, but I'm watching them do the exact same set all the time. And I'm like, your job as a comedian is to find the very best way to say something. So I will try 50 different things wording wise so that I can get it right. And I think that's why the stuff works on TikTok, because it's so concise to the point. And after I work it out so concise that it is perfect-ish, it's because I've tried every angle, I've tried every word, I've tried, do I say it like this? Do I say it backwards? Do I say it, you know, and that's what's cool about Renae. She won't come to a show, see the set, and then you won't see me for a couple months. And then Renee's like, oh shit, you added this, you added that changed, you moved this over here. So it's constantly growing and changing. And you know, it's funny when comics go, I put my videos on TikTok, they don't go viral. And I'm like, well, are you trying to find the very best way to say something? You know?
Renae, how have you seen his career change through your
I don't
eyes
want-
with social media?
You know what? TikTok is like blowing my mind right now. We saw it first with Facebook when the shopping bit went viral. That was like the first thing that it kind of happened when we clipped up the special. And then, so you would think that sort of we would be prepared for it on another platform to happen with TikTok, but it's his voice now. Like now
that's
people are
what's
recognizing
weird.
his voice.
I'll be talking and y'all see somebody turn around and go, "You're the comedian on TikTok," because they heard my voice.
Oh, even last night we were at a Brooks and Dunn. We were watching Brooks and Dunn and Reba, and Steve's got a bad back, so he'll sit on the edge of the aisle, and he kind of has to get up periodically through the show and go stand in the aisle. And there's a woman across the aisle, and she keeps looking at him, and she's doing this, and I'm like, oh man, we're gonna get in a fight at the Brooks and Dunn and Reba concert. Like, what the hell? No, it turns out afterwards we're all filling the aisleway to leave, and the woman's daughter comes over, and she goes, "My mom said you're someone famous," and I said, "Mom, leave him alone. He's not. He's just a regular dude." And then the woman hears Steve's voice and it registers, and she goes, "Oh, I thought you were a rodeo guy, but you're not. You're that comedian that talks shit about his wife on social media."
And I go, and there's the wife. That's the one. I mean, it's been really trippy for me, and it is weird when I don't understand. I meet a lot of people and they go, "Oh, you're just like a regular guy," and I don't understand what that means. You know, I don't know if they're expecting me to be something different, or, you know what I mean? And then they meet me and they go, "Oh, you're just like a regular guy." Well, I don't know how to be anything. I don't understand what people expect.
They thought you were
know-
going to be taller.
I do get that a lot. People are like, "Man, you look a lot bigger on my phone." Yes.
More about a little bit about your house. You just got your house, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
You just got. We're building our first house, so I'm always like, I want to see what they've done. You know.
Yeah.
We always see the one room, so we haven't got.
Oh, in the podcast studio.
So the question is, you know, we just bought a new house. You don't get to see the house. It is tough for me because there is a fine line between proud and bragging, and I'm always afraid that it'll come off as bragging. You know, so, you know, we are so.
I think we're so overwhelmed that we live in that house.
No,
too.
privacy doesn't bother us. I mean, you know, we
A
share.
little for me. I'm more
A
private
little more
than
for her,
Steve
but
is.
we share everything, you know, and this house is really out of this world, and it is exactly the way I would have built my home. We didn't have to build it, but there is a line. We don't. When we got early on, you know, we would talk about how proud we were of
with the last house.
of the things that we had accomplished, and then we would get messages from people that were like, "Oh my God, you know, I'm so tired of the bragging," and it's like, oh, no, we're not bragging. We're very proud, and we also want people to know that in America, dreams come true, and if you work hard and you put in the effort, I mean, I'm out there every single
I'm
day.
gonna cry. My lips started to quiver as you started to say that.
And even, you know, at one point, I started Instagramming my days, right? And I had to stop doing that because I got all these husbands that were like, "Will you chill the fuck out?" They're like, "My wife is like showing me your videos going, look what Steve's doing. Look what Steve's doing." And it happens with my neighbors. My neighbors drive by and they're like, "Dude, stop." My wife calls me and goes, "Steve's outside again. Steve's working on I don't stop working, and we've accomplished so much, and we do want to share our home so people can see it. But it scares us because I don't ever want to come off as braggadocious. I don't ever want to come off as ha ha ha, look at us.
Don't you
You
feel
know,
too, though, when like your friends or family do well and they have a nice house,
very
We're
proud.
proud of them. Yeah.
stick to that. To hell with everybody else.
You know, no, and I agree with that 100%. And I think that there is a type of people. Did somebody hit a jackpot? Oh, that's a first. But I think there's two kinds of people. There are the people that are very happy for people, you know, and Renae and I are, and you know, we have been so happy to the group of friends that we do have, Renae's brother included. You know, all of us have come up and succeeded in a way that is, you know, Don and Jeff, who we're going to bring up here in a minute. I mean, all of us, and we're just so happy for people when they succeed. And then there's the other people that are just mad and grumpy that people are succeeding, and they go, "Oh, what are you bragging?" You know, I had a guy reach out and he goes, "Oh, well, you know, you say you're the everyday man, but you live in a gated community." And I'm like, whoa, we all want to do the very best we can for our kids, you know. And if I can protect my kids in a way that I was not protected, I'm going to try to do it, you know. And our neighborhood has turned out to be a blessing because everybody is on the same page. Everybody is very, I mean, you guys did the bitches ride, the witches ride. Yeah. But, you know, yes, we would like to show our home to people so they can see. And there's glimpses on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I go out in the back and I watch the deer in the mornings. And I like to show people a picture of all the deer that we have in the backyard and stuff like that. So, yes, we will definitely do that. But
And we're still making it our own too, little by little. So I think maybe as we take on more projects around the house, we'll share those things.
a little cribs episode. Yeah.